You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. We have had an invasion of Javelina show up at the Lane Casa. So they come in, they rummage through. It seems like they're on a circuit. They just kind of roam around the neighborhood. There's a herd of, I don't know how big. I stumble across them at night, kind of going, oh my gosh, give them space. I've had them chase me before. We spooked each other, big boar, and he kind of charged. I don't think he could see me. He could smell me. Maybe he kind of rustled up and charged at me, and I kind of ran like a little girl. Gave him respect. Go for it. But they're in eating fruits, bird seed. They're looking for easy sources. They're omnivores. They go after whatever's easiest. And if something runs out, they go, well, let's switch gears. We'll go over here. The problem is they're a pickery, so they've got like a snout, like a pig. So they root up the soil like a rototiller. They kind of root things up. They're looking for bulbs. I love tulips. If you're planting tulips this fall, don't put them where the pigs can get them. They'll eat every single one. They're like candy to them, like a huge Snickers bar. They'll just dig up the entire garden until they get every single one of them. And so you want to plant those back where it's fenced in. They don't like daffodils. You can plant those, or narcissus. They're okay. They're poisonous, so they're not going to eat those. But most bulbs, they're gonna go after. All of your vegetable gardens are going to go after. And so there's certain plants. So in my front yard, I plant things that are kind of javelina proof. The backyard, I've got fenced. And so there, I can plant whatever I want. It's like a free-for-all. And we've got the fences there not to keep the javelina out, but to keep the dogs in. And so but they'll test. They'll push gates to see if it'll open. They're pretty smart. And so we see them get in the garden center every once in a while. So push the gates and they just kind of go, I can squeeze in here. And then it's like a free-for-all at the garden center. So you want to the only way to truly deal with javelina is to fence them. Sometimes even if they don't like it, they'll dig it up just to see what's underneath the roots. Going, oh, look, they loosened up the soil for me. I wonder if there's grubs or worms down here. And they'll toss your plant aside. But generally speaking, there are some plants they just don't like. They don't like herbs, anything herbally scent. So they don't like thyme, rosemary, lavender, oregano. They just don't like anything herbal. And so it's just that oils or something about it they just don't like. And so they'll leave them alone. They don't like generally grasses. So they don't like pampas grass or miscanthus or deer grass, all the native ones, bear grass. They generally leave grass alone. Now, if you put it in the ground, they might be interested because they're going to notice this is their home. It's like putting a pampas grass in the middle of your living room. Are you going to notice that? Sure you are. You're going to go, hey, what's up? What's going on? Hey, Fred, get over here. There's this new thing over here. Let's figure this thing out. And they might dig it up and throw it off to the side. You put it back in the ground. But generally, they leave them alone. They don't like fescue, blue fescues and things. So phlox, they don't care for that. Hollies, hibiscus, they don't care for those. We have this new Mashudos hibiscus. It is stunning. The flowers are bigger than your hand. They're almost as big as a child's head. They're huge hibiscus type flowers. This is what you want for if you want a Hawaiian type of hibiscus. It's a perennial here, so it does hibernate underground in the winter. Then it comes back fresh, about 3 feet high, about hip high. And then it just has these flowers now through the end of the year. It's called Mashudos hibiscus. They come in several colors, but javelina don't bother those. So you want to plant those out where they're kind of roaming around. Manzanita, I just know they're not going to eat that. Lilacs, they're not going to eat that. One that I really like, that's really super, quite bright, it's called red hot poker. It's a perennial, gets up about knee high or so. There's a couple different models, a couple different colors, but basically the flower looks like a red hot poker, like you've had a poker in a fire for a while, and it comes out, it's super bright. It's got this transition of red and yellow and whites. It's really, really pretty. They don't bother that particular perennial, so you put that out there. Russian sage is probably the number one sold perennial. They're not going to eat those. either, because it's got that sagey kind of herbal scent to it. So you want to be real strategic. If you've got heavy pressure of javelina or rabbits or whatever in your yard, you want to figure out what those plants they won't bother, and then you got to commit more to those. You can't have a cottage garden of a lot of everything. You got to have a few things. So there's 20 things you can plant, and here they are. You got to commit more, so bigger blocks of those down the driveway, so they aren't going to bother those. Vinca or periwinkle is another kind of, it's an evergreen ground cover kind of plant. It does really well. It has a blue flower to it with 5 petals. It's quite striking. Javelina, we've just proved it out. They are not going to bother those in your garden. So commit more to those. So that's a great ground cover, or keeping a hillside intact. I don't know how to help you. I've got a list here at the Garden Center, or if you go to our website, watersgardencenter.com, just type in Javelina at the top, the list, the information will come. But if you really want to find a good list, go to watersgardencenter.com. And at the top, we've got a learn button, Learn, like learning. All the garden class handouts we put under that tab. And so it's an easy resource. And we do teach Javelina classes, how to keep the Javelina out, often. And so that handout that we use for that class is right there. Just look at Javelina resistant plant list. Generally speaking, most of the herds do read the list. Some don't, or some they'll just kind of try it, but then they'll leave it alone. But, daylilies, they don't bother. Wisteria, zinnias, pyracantha, silk tassel trees, silver lace vines, and snapdragons. We're coming into snapdragon season. They don't bother those. Like, they got a taste. They cannot tolerate. Mexican primrose, real pretty ground cover with pink flowers. It just spreads. You've got some choices, but you'll have to learn a little bit to try it. And if you're just not sure, I encourage clients that I help here at the Garden Center, go, listen, why don't you take one home and use it as a test victim? Just put it out there, see if they eat it, see if they take care of it, see if they're leave it alone. And so if they leave it alone, hey, I got a good one. I'll take 5 of those. You kind of top it off that way. So test it before you really commit is probably the best way to do that. You can plant now. A lot of my Phoenix, Palm Springs, Southern California folks are, no, I can see they're predicting December will be here. I can't plant anymore. No, this is like the best planting season. What are you talking about? This is ideal. Finally, it's cool. You're not going to have to deal with all the heat of summer. This is your time. And so especially for those fall type of perennials, it's a really good time. The mums are here. Echinaceas are here. We got this phlox. Phlox is here. What was that called? I've got a couple different lilies came in that are really quite striking for the shade gardens. And so, yes, they will hibernate underground, but they're going to come back next spring and do it all over again for you. And then we have got some super cool evergreens coming. They're at the farm yet. We're loading up that truck now. And so we've got 3 or 4 farms. We were just up there touring, hand picking these different trees and shrubs. And so they'll be down here probably in a couple weeks. So it takes a bit of time. Plants are logistical. Like, it's not just easy to go pick them up and bring them down. You got to have cooled trailers. It's just logistics. You got to think the route to make the distance worthwhile. But I know who grows the best evergreens. I know who grows the best shrubs, the best mums, the best, and we're pulling for those farms. And so it's okay to plant now. You'll need to water. You'll need to treat it like it was still summer, but you're not doing that very often. A couple times a week for a new tree, that's more than enough. Flowers, maybe it's every other week, every other day, not week. Flowers need more water every other day or so. It's probably about right. And so you got plenty of things going on. The garden center's like glowing. The flowers are so pretty right now.
Waters Garden companion plants for September are Raywood ash, Russian sage, honeysuckle, and ivory feathers pampas grass.
Ivory feathers is a dwarf pampas grass that blends perfectly into desert landscapes.
The ivory plumes reach over head height for architectural style around patios and ponds.
Well suited as a visual barrier or hedge in the far reaches of the yard.
You will find only the brightest grasses here at Waters Garden Center.
Shop in-store or online at watersgardencenter.com. For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.